Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. In this video we will be continuing our campaign, the 1796 Italian campaign in Field Commander Napoleon. This is part 2. If you have not seen part 1, I'll throw up a card here so you can check that out if you would like to. We are starting the second turn here, which is May 1796. And the French go first. So here in the corner is our sequence of play. Advanced turn counter already done, moves. Things were a little, shall we say, shaky for the French in the most recent turn. They didn't really do as well as I would have hoped. And we lost 2 of the supply points I was kind of holding over. So that makes things a little bit extra challenging here in this turn. But we need to kind of press on here. So even though I only have, 3 units here and only 2 of them are full strength, I feel like I probably should press on because we don't have a ton of time here to do well. So we're going to attack Genoa, which is going to be difficult. And, if they hadn't drawn a reinforcement up here, I might have actually taken a crack at doing this one as well. But that would seem to be not a really brilliant brilliant move. You know what? I'm going to risk it. Even though I'm going to regret this, I'm going to risk it anyway. And we'll do this battle first. So those are our 2 moves. Now we go to resolve our battle. So I'm going to move the camera. We're going to go and do our Fog of War roll, and then we'll get our combat started. Okay, so let's do our Fog of War. They get a 4 plus 4 gives them an 8, which, again, transfer 2 of your supply points to the enemy. So that now leaves me with 0 supply points and gives them, they lost 4 and they gained 2 back. So that would give them, they went from 8 to 4 back to 6. So they have 6. So they have 6. I have none. I have 1 battle plan. Envelopment check. I know that neither side has enough for that because it is 5 for me and 9, 12 for them. So it's actually close, but not quite. This needs to get out of there. Buy additional battle plans. No supply now. Select insight counters. We're not doing that either. Place our French forces. Place the enemy forces. Fortifications always go in reserve. In line formation. Garrisons go in approach. In line, and regular forces go in column formation in approach. Or reserve, but we'll start them in approach. So now we do insight activation. No, select and place French battle plans. We get 1. We're going to do a flank because I'm going to assume that this guy is going to advance. So we need to get into melee with them as quickly as possible because the cannon can fire on you at ranges that are 1 or greater unless you're in melee. So, or in the same. They can't fire at 0, so if you get into their thing, they also can't do it. So we did roll an 8. This is a 3-turn battle. I forgot to do that. Now we draw their 2 battle plans out. Actually, they only get 1. So they're going to get closing. If infantry, no roll. Column advance. Shock -3, not applicable. Attack, not applicable. So then we would go flank, only 2, 1, 2, so it worked. Advance. Oh wait, I got to roll. Since I put him in, I should have put him in column. So I'm going to move him to column anyway. It doesn't matter. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, we're going to leave him in column so that I don't have to roll for it. He can't do anything. He can fire. He needs a 4 or higher. I'm sorry. He needs a 4 or lower to hit. Rolls a 7, so that's not a hit. So now he can move 1, advance, and then advance again with shock 3. So he needs to roll a 1 to avoid the shock. Rolls a 10, so he is going to be reduced and retreat. And then he can do an attack, so he will attack. He needs a 5 or less. Gets a 5 now. Oh, that's a 1-step unit, so he's actually destroyed. And then he gets reduced on the attack. So we go to 2 turns left. And we select our battle plan. And our battle plan will be, we'll do volley. They can't advance, so we're going to do volley. So we got to survive 2 attacks here. But they have a 3 and they have a 4. They don't get battle plans, so I'm not even going to draw one. So we're just going to roll. The garrison will go first, a 3 or less here to hit. Rolls a 4, that's a miss. Fortification needs a 4 or less. Rolls a 10, that's a miss. Now volley, if line no roll, he's not in line. He has a 6, so he needs a 6 or less. Come on, thank you. 1. Now he gets to attack with a +4. So this will be a 9. And rolled an 8. So that kills the garrison. And that ends that. Now we go to turn 1. Oh, I never removed that. Because that's the order I want to give him now. So the shock won't apply, but he'll be able to attack anyway, if he can avoid getting hit by him here in the last turn. 5. So they miss. So now he gets activated. So we're going to go advance, advance. The shock does not matter, but he gets to attack. Now they're in melee, so he gets a +3. And a +3, so it's an 8 for 1 hit and a 3 or less for 2 hits. And it's 1 hit. And that is the end of the battle, so we get to the withdrawal. We're looking for basically a 3 to 5. And we get a 5. So that's going to mean that they retreat, which destroys the fortification, and the French win. All right. That was incredibly lucky. Okay, so as you can see, we now control Milan. And that'll give us three cities held, assuming they don't take it back, which is a possibility. Actually, no, they can't take it back before our turn is over. So we're going to get 12 supply points, which will be nice because I really need to reinforce my forces here. But a lot hinges on this battle down here. This is going to be tough. So we're going to go and do our fog of war roll. They have 6 supply left, which gives them a +2 on the roll. So we are back on the fog of war roll. We want to roll low because they get a +2. We get a 5, which becomes a 7. So here we have 7. It's a 5-turn battle, and we get 2 enemy supply points. So that actually works out okay for me. So that will leave them with 4 supply. No, 2 supply because they spent 2. And then we have 2 now as well. So that is nice because that's going to come in handy here. So next stop is determine battle plan quantities. The French will have 2 this time because Napoleon is present. The enemy gets 2 as well. Select buy additional French battle plan. So if I spend 2 points, I'll get 1 additional battle plan. And since I just got 2 for free, so I've decided that I am going to spend my 2 ill-gotten supply points here to get a 3rd battle plan here. And I'm going to actually use one of them. So I'm going to put the 2 back. I'm going to use one of them for an insight. Okay, so insight counter, we will take front, which lets us put 3 units, and we only have 3 units, but we can put them in the front. So we are going to do that. And so then we place our forces. So as I said, we're going to spend this, having just bought it, to put our 3 forces in the front. Napoleon goes in his spot, like so, but I still have 2 battle plans that I can use. Now the enemy forces. So this is a formidable force they've got arrayed against us here. Next up is insight activation, which we already did. So we're going to select and place French battle plan. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the prepare, And we're going to take the flank and we're going to give it to La Harpe. And that's going to allow them to go first. So that's what we're going to do. So he's going to go first. So we're going to spend both of these. So the prepare lets him go before the enemy goes, which is the normal order of things. So he goes advance. Oh, I have to roll for activation first. So he needs a 7 or less. Rolls a 4. So he's going to go here. And then he's going to go here. Now, because they're in column, they automatically shock. They automatically shock. We don't even roll for it. And then he'll get an attack as well. So these two, this is going to be eliminated. This one's going to be reduced and have to retreat. And this one's going to be reduced and have to retreat as well. And then he gets to attack, and he has a 9. So we're in melee here with the garrison, which will also prevent this gun from firing on him, although we can still fire at these guys. But we'll see what we get here. So we're attacking with a 9. Roll an 8, so he's going to be reduced. And now now they go, and they have to, I forgot to draw their battle plan, so I'm going to do that. They get 2. Well, honestly, they probably would have applied them here. So I'm just going to say that they lose them because they had to retreat. All right, so they'll all get default plans now. So we'll do the melee attack first with the garrison. They get 2 attacks, so they get a 6/3. Roll a 9, so nothing for them. Now, these guys, because they're all 1 away from him, they won't fire because of the melee here, but these guys can all fire. So we'll just go down the line. We'll start with the Lipete. He needs a 6 to activate. Gets a 10, so no. Rosselmini needs a 6 to activate. Rolls a 6, so he's good, but he needs a 3 to hit. And he does hit. Okay, now Salsich needs a 7. Gets a 6. Now he has a 6/3. Gets a 7, so he misses. He needs a 3 to activate. Gets a 4. He needs a 5 to activate. Gets a 6. So all things considered, that went relatively well. Not great, but relatively well. So now we go to the 4 turns left. This time, I'm going to do the same thing I just did. I'm going to put a prepare on here. And I'm going to put a flank, I think. Or should I just do an engage? No, we're going to do a flank. And we'll do it with Serurier. Now let me draw the battle plans for the enemy here. So we'll give Lippe a wedge, and we'll give Salich the forward. All right, so he gets to go first. So we're going to use the prepare, so he goes first. Now he has to roll for it. He needs an 8. Gets a 7. So he's going to advance. There would be shock, but I don't think garrisons can shock, so because they don't have a morale. So he's going to attack now with a 10/3. Gets a 4. So the garrison is eliminated. So now they get to go. So wedge, column advance. So he has to roll for it. He needs a 6 or more. Gets a 1, so the activation is good. So he advances. And he rolls a 1. So he's good. 5 or lower. So no shock. Then attack with a +2/+2. So it's going to be 5/2. And that is a 10. It was a 10. It is a 10. So then he goes to line formation. Because of the last line. It says 0-1 line. There it is. 0-1 line at the bottom. That goes back. We'll roll for him. He needs a 6. Gets a 2, so he's activated. Now he needs a 3 to hit. Gets a 6, so he misses. Now forward, if column no roll, so he's going to advance, and we have to do another shock check here, so he needs a 5 or less. Gets a 3, so that's fine. So then he goes to line formation. Just put them like that. Make this easier a little bit, because we're going to get crowded in here probably. And then an attack. So he's got a 6/3. Rolled a 9, so no hits. So he's done. Now we've got these two. So he needs a 3 to activate. Gets a 6, so no. And then he needs a 5 to activate. Gets a 1, so he'll do combat. So he'll go to line and then attack. He needs a 3 or higher. Gets a 10. All right, so now this is the only one left. We're going to do a march to advance. And we have to activate him, so he needs a 5 or less. Gets a 4, so he's going to move up here. And that is the end of that turn. So we go to turn 3 now. And now we have to select our battle plans again. And I just realized I forgot to do the fortification. I apologize for that, and we'll try to remember going forward. I'm going to give a volley order to the harp. And I'm going to give a... No, I'm sorry. We're going to give the volley to Augereau and the square to the harp. So the square is an interesting one, because what that allows you to do is it's only infantry, there's no roll to activate, and you pre-attack the cavalry with a +4, and it can be in melee or at 1. So that's going to give him a 9 for attacking the cavalry, so that definitely makes it worthwhile. And as I said, it's a pre-attack, so he'll get to attack before them. Let's draw for their things here. Okay, so they get an aimed for Liptay and a wedge for Salish. So we're going to do this first. He needs a 9 because he's got a 5 +4. And if he gets a 9 or less, that worked. It's an 8. That eliminates this guy because they can't be reduced. There's no reduced side. So he's eliminated, which eliminates the wedge as well. Now Liptay gets to go. He's got aimed. So if line, no roll, he's in line. Infantry attack +4. So we have to activate him. He needs a 6 or higher. Rolls a 2. So now, does aimed work in melee? I need to check this. Oh, I've been screwing this up. This would go back here. And so would the wedge. Because in infantry, if they're in melee, they can't do anything but regular combat. So we'll do Liptay here. So we still have to do a 6 for the activation roll. He gets a 4, so that's good. And he gets a 3 +3, so he has a 6/3 for his attack. And he gets a 6, which is 1. This is done. So the harp gets killed. And now we need to do these guys. So column advance. We have to check him first. He needs a 6 to activate. He gets it. So he's going to advance and attack with a +2/2. So that would be like an 8/5. And he rolls a 7, so that's going to reduce him as well. Things are getting dicey here. Now we have to do this guy, and he goes to line now. And he rolled a 10, so he does not activate. So he doesn't have to activate, and he gets a +4 with his 3, gives him 7. And he rolled a 10, so that did not work. Okay, so now he gets volley with a +4. So his 4 becomes an 8, assuming, and he's lined, so we don't have to roll. So we just need an 8 or less, and we get an 8. So they're the same. I'm going to reduce Rossellini because it doesn't matter, they're identical. So now let's do a route check, which I have not done yet. So they've got 4, 6, 9, 12, 14. We have 8. So it's still not 3 to 1. All right, so we go to 2 turns left. I'm not sure I see a route to victory here, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. So let's do our French battle plan. So we are going to do, what can we do here? Well, we can do volley again for him. And we'll do prepare on Serorier just so he can fire first. That's about the best we can hope for. And I forgot to do the cannon. So I'm going to do the cannon right now. Roll the 7, so no, nothing. Let's draw their plans out. So they draw the ever popular wedge and the wheel. So because he gets to go first, he gets to attack. So he's going to attack one of these. It'll be this guy essentially. But he gets a 7/3, so a 3 or less is 2 hits. He gets a 2, so that's going to eliminate him. And it's going to reduce him. We'll start here. So he has a 4 for activation and gets it. And now he needs a 2 to hit and gets a 9, so nothing. So column advance. Now he has to check for shock. So he's going to have a 2 plus 2 is 4, a 7, 5, I guess. And it's an 8, so no damage. All right, so line gets an infantry attack because he's not cavalry. So we have to roll to activate, needs a 5, gets a 3. So now the attack is a 3, and he gets a 10. All right. Now he gets to attack, he's got a +4, so that he only needs an 8. We don't have to activate because he's line. So 8 or less, roll the 6, that is a hit. We will kill this guy because he's the lower of the 2. Now he gets to shoot. Needs a 4 or less, gets a 5. All right, now we're down to the last turn. Last turn here, and I'm going to keep the same order. Volley. Actually, maybe not. I'm going to take a chance here, and we're going to do engage and prepare, because we're going to keep the fortification from maybe inflicting a casualty here. So assuming he can pass the check, he'll get to advance with a +2 shock, or -2 shock, which means he would need to roll a 1 or a 2 to avoid being shocked. So that might do it here. So we have to draw their plans. They only need 1 because this guy can't get 1. And they get closing. So he goes to column, advances, a shock -3, and then an attack. All right, well, he gets to go first. So we're doing the prepare. Then he's going to, we have to check for activation. So he needs a 5 or less. Gets a 1, so that worked. So he's going to advance. Now he's got a shock with a -2, so he needs a 2 or a 1. Gets a 3, so he gets reduced, which he already is, so he cannot complete, so he's gone. And now he gets an attack with a +1/+1, so it's a 5/1 for attacking this guy. So if we roll a 5, that's going to eliminate him, and then we might be okay. And we rolled a 5, so he's dead, so he can't do his attack. Thank you, prepare battle plan. All right, now if they can avoid this guy, then Serorier, well, we're going to have to, it's going to come down to whether or not they retreat or not, but he gets to attack first, and he misses. So now he gets to attack, it's a 4, as well, 6 first, and he rolled a 7, so that's a fail. So what we've got now, we're at the last turn, we go to withdrawal. I'm going to roll. We have a 1, which is rejoin. So rejoin means everybody goes back to the campaign map temporarily. including the fortification, and then they all come back. So they're going to come back, including Napoleon, and we start a new battle. And so we have to roll for fog of war. They roll a 7. They have 2 supply, so they don't get any bonus, so it's just a 7. Transfer 2 enemy supply to me. I'll take it. This is a 5-turn battle, just like we just had. This time I'm just gonna keep my supply, I guess. We'll put, yeah, we're just gonna use 2 battle plans. We'll put these 2 here. They're gonna have to advance under fire to get up there, but hopefully they can do it. So, actually they're gonna start in column, because that's better for advancing. So envelopment check, 8 to 4. Unfortunately, not good enough. Determine battle plan. We have 2 each. Buy additional French. Nope. Select insight. I don't think insight will do anything for us. Oh, maybe it will. You know what? I am going to spend this too to buy the extra battle plan. And I'm going to use one of them for an insight. And the insight is going to be this guy right here, engineers. So it's going to be hard because I have to roll a 2 to activate it. But if I do activate it, it inflicts a hit on the fortification. So that's worth doing. I'm going to stick this right here. So all our forces are placed. Insight activation, we roll to see. So you use Napoleon's command rating, which is a 2. And look at that, it's a 2. So they get reduced, which is nice. Select our French battle plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a flank. And I'm going to do it twice. I think that's okay. I don't think that's illegal. So I'm just going to put it here between them. They're both going to use that same order. So he gets to attack. He needs a 2 to hit. Gets an 8, so that's no good. So now they're going to do their 1. Oh wait, yeah, they don't need to roll, so they're just going to go up 2. And they can't fire yet. And so now we go to the next turn. They again have to roll a 2. They roll an 8. We're going to do the same exact thing. Oh, right here. They're going to do the same thing. So I already rolled for them, which I shouldn't have done because I did it out of order. All right, so let's see. We're going to try this here. We have to activate, and I forgot to activate him before. So he fails, and he works. So he goes up here, and he gets to attack. So he has a 4 plus 3 is 7. So if he gets a 7 or less, and it's a 2. So that destroys the fortification. The French win the battle, and they take Genoa.
We're back on the campaign map, as you can see. So there's not a whole lot of forces available to us to work with here, aside from garrisons and fortifications. So we have a unit here in Milan, 2 reduced units here in Genoa, and the Austrians have 2 there. The enemy also has a recruit up here in Klagenfurt, and neither side really has much going on here. They're also both out of supply. And so for the French, we're still in the French turn. They won't be able to do any forced marches because you need supply to move a unit via forced march. So their campaigning is basically over for May. And these are 2-month turns, so you could say, I guess, May and June. What we can do is move on to resupply. The way resupply works, again, is shown right here. France will get a base level of 3 and then receive 3 more for each city they control. They currently control 4, and where's the marker for this one? Oh, it got pushed over to Bologna. With their 4 controlled cities plus the base 3, France receives 15 supply points. Now there are a few different things you can do with your supply points. You can refit forces, which return reduced forces to full strength, and that costs 2 points each. I do have 2 reduced forces here in Genoa, which as I said cost 2 points each, so I'm going to return them to full strength by paying 4 supply points. That'll leave us with 11. So that's one of the things you can do. You can also purchase reinforcements or purchase scouts. For reinforcements, which include static forces like garrisons and fortifications, you pay their combat strength as the cost. For example, we have La Harpe, who has a combat strength of 9 and would cost us 9 supply points. You can also buy them at their reduced strength, in which case he would cost 5, and then you can later spend 2 more supply points to refit him to full. So that would save you 2 supply points, but you of course run the risk of that unit being eliminated in combat because he's back to being a single step unit, and one hit would destroy it. So we could do that because it's cheaper, but I also don't have any cavalry right now, and unfortunately cavalry are also single step units, and they're not cheap. I could buy Stengel for 8, or I could buy Kilmaine for 6. But again, these are single step units, although they are very useful in combat. You can also buy static forces, as I mentioned, or generic reinforcements, and this would include things like cannon, like this veteran unit, which is also a single step unit and costs 6. You could also buy a poor quality recruit for 4. Now their usefulness is, a bit limited because they are single step units and 4 is a pretty low to hit number. But I think what I'm going to do here is buy this one, and I will also buy the reduced La Harpe, which costs 5, which totals for 9 supply points, and that would leave me with 2. So we will add the recruit cannon and the reduced La Harpe, and I'm going to put them both up here with Macquard in Milan, leaving these 2 other guys here with Napoleon in Genoa. I'd really love to be able to buy some garrisons and fortifications for some of these cities, but I am in a bit of a bind with my forces, and since this is an offensive-oriented campaign, I need mobile forces more than I need to protect what I've already captured. So back to the matter at hand, as that wraps up our French turn on the campaign map, and now it's time for the enemy turn. We start with enemy orders, which is here on the campaign map board. There are only 2 enemy forces out on the map now. You separate the enemy forces by area and then into groups of 3. In this case, the enemy only has 2 units here and the 1 unit up in Klagenfurt. So we'll first do this area, and we get a 1, and a 2 or less is an enemy-held objective. So in this case, there are 2 possible areas to move to. So I'm going to decide to do a roll to determine which way this unit will go. If it's odd, we'll go to Milan, and if it's even, we'll go to Genoa. It's a 4, so they'll be heading to Genoa to take on Napoleon himself. Now we'll have to have a battle to resolve that, but before that, I need to determine where this guy in Klagenfurt is going. He rolls a 2, which is the same result. So he will move towards the closest enemy objective, and in his case, that's Milan. So he's going to move here, and then presumably he'll move up again and get to Milan in a couple of moves. But for now, there's not going to be a battle for this unit. So now we'll head over to the battle board and resolve our battle. Okay, so now the next step is to do the fog of war roll. And Napoleon is present, so both sides do have 2 battle plans, and they don't get a DRM because they're out of supply. They roll a 7, which seems to be a popular roll. So this is the old transfer 2 enemy supplies to me, but they don't have any, so I don't get anything. But this is a 5-turn battle, so we go to the envelopment check, and they have 7 and 4 is 11. And I have 8 and 7 make 15. And we'll put Napoleon out. And I've also placed the forces, as you can see. These guys are supposed to start in column. I am going to stay in line because shock reasons. Since they're cavalry, they can move faster than infantry, so I'm trying to take that into account. Okay, battle plan, we each have 2. Buy additional, no. Add insight, I don't think so. I'm just going to go with the two battle plans. The forces are placed. There's no insight. Select and place French battle plans. So I am going to do a square for both, just on the off chance that they get close enough to where I can actually attack them next turn, and it will depend on what they draw as their orders. This is a little bit risky because if you're in your own approach area and the enemy gets there, you get automatically shocked. There's no check, you just fail it. But I don't think that I don't think there are any orders where the cavalry are going to advance 3 spots in 1 turn. So I think I'm safe for now, but I'm going to employ the square just in case they do get 2, because then they'd be adjacent to me and I can fire at them with the +4 modifier. Now we'll draw their battle plans. They get 2, and they get melee and wedge. So for melee, he gets advance, infantry, attack, and then line. And they're going to go here. He's got column. If line no roll, oh, he had to roll, so let's push him back. They both have to roll, so he needs a 6 to activate. And he gets a 6. So he does activate. He advances. If he's infantry, he was attack, and then line. So he can't attack because he's too far away, but he does go to line. Now the wedge is, again, we have to activate. He needs a 7 or less. He gets a 5, so that's fine. He's going to be column, advance, attack, 0, 1, 1 away line. So because he's more than 1 away, he stays in column. So now it's our turn. We can't really do the order because they're not in range. So that just means that we don't do anything. Yep, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to not move because we can't. You can only perform the activities that you're able to on your order counter, which we can't do, so we're not going to do any. So we're going to move on to turn 4 and start over. So we go back to, select our battle plans. We'll use our friend the prepare. And we're going to also use... Let's see, we will use flank. So this is a little risky because if he doesn't pass his activation check, then he won't be able to execute that order. So let's draw their orders now. This is one we haven't seen yet, so this is a special one, where they get a +3 for well struck, +3 +0 on our rolls. That one affects us, and wedge obviously affects them. So because we have the prepare order, we can jump the queue here, and Augereau can go first. He does need to pass his activation check because he is not in column and will be moving. So he needs a 7 or less. And we roll a 3, so he passes the check. This will advance him twice, and his arrival will force a shock check with a -3 die roll modifier to the weaker of the 2 cavalry units. So he's going to need a 3 or less, and he rolls a 5. So he takes a step loss, and because cavalry is just a 1-step unit, he's actually eliminated. Now Augereau can make his attack with a strength of 11 because he has a +3 attack strength modifier for melee, but we also have a +3 on the roll because of the well struck counter. So this means he's still going to need an 8 or less to destroy the last enemy cavalry unit. So we take our roll, and we roll a 3, and that eliminates the enemy, and we have won the battle. And so now we will be returning to the campaign map where we can resolve the enemy's resupply as the last part of this turn, and then move on to our July 1796 turn. Okay, we're back to the campaign map. Here are our forces, here and here. We're going to roll for enemy resupply. So 8 for Mantua. It's in here. We roll once for each enemy held city. So an 8 gives them 3 supply. I'll put a 3 here. And then we roll for Klagenfurt as well, and that gets a 4. And a 4 is 1 reinforcement, which we draw out of the cup. So let me draw something out here. And we get a line recruit here.
which won't focus. There we go. Line recruit. And he goes in Klagenfurt. So just what they need is more troops with this giant death stack sitting over here. Okay, so now that was still May. Let's advance to July. I had already moved this. Sorry, had to fix the focus there. I had already moved this guy, so I had to fix that. Here, and I mentioned this at the start in the first video, as soon as the French go into Lonato or Mantua, it's going to make these guys show up, and they're going to appear in Klagenfurt. So I can pull them in this turn if I move here or if I attack Mantua. Here's the thinking. I need to bolster my forces. There's 42 strength points here. I have 29 total between this group and this group. 42 is a lot. Now they're going to get broken up when we do enemy movement because there's a bunch of units there and you group them by 3 in the same area. So they're all going to be in here. And if this recruit doesn't move, then so they're going to end up split up, and then we're going to have to figure out how to kind of attack them piecemeal. My fear is simply this, that I'm going to end up facing like a death stack, basically, with forces that aren't up to the challenge. But Napoleon was a believer in being bold, so I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to move these 3 units into Lonato, and I'm going to take these guys and Napoleon, and we're going to attack Mantua and hope that we can knock out both of these and take their city, which would leave them with just Klagenfurt. So now these guys are going to be on map and involved as soon as we reach the enemy turn. All right, so we do have a battle to resolve. Okay, so back here on the battle map, let me bring my dice tower back in. As always, first thing we do is we roll for Fog of War. We get a 1. So if Napoleon is not present, select 1 insight. Napoleon is present, so we're not going to get to select an insight. This is also only a 2-turn battle, which is pretty terrible. But you know what? We're gonna play it out and see what happens here. The next thing is the envelopment check. So they have 10, 18, and I have 15. So obviously there isn't going to be an envelopment. Each side has 2 battle plans. I could buy an additional one for 2 supply points. I will pass on that. So now we would select insight counters. And again, so this is where things get a little tricky because I could buy the engineers and hope that you know, as happened previously with this marker. There we go. Inflict 1 hit on each garrison and fortification, but you have to roll a 2. So it's hard to roll a 2, and I got lucky once, and I'm not sure I'd get lucky again, so I am not going to use that, actually. Instead, what I will do is I'm just going to roll it out and go with 2 battle plans for me and 2 battle plans for them, which won't matter because all they have are garrisons and fortifications, which don't use battle plans. So the fortifications go in here. And the garrisons go in here, and they do not move. They do not use battle plans. Okay, then our French forces will go here, and Napoleon there. And since we don't have to worry about getting shocked because they can't advance, we are ready to begin. So we don't have to worry about inside activation. Again, this is only a 2-turn scenario. I am going to use the prepare. And I am going to use the flank, largely so I can get here. So we're going to take Serrurier. You know what? Actually, I'm going to use it with Augereau. And we're going to send him up here. That's all we're doing here. And they get to go first. So he's in column. So the flank, we don't need to worry about it. He's going to automatically get to do it. So we're resolving enemy battle plans, but they don't have any battle plans, and because of the prepare, we get to go first. So he's going to use this, and we're going to resolve our flank, so advance, advance, and now he gets to attack, and his attack is an 8, so let's see what we can do here. We need an 8 or less, and we roll a 5, so that's going to hit one of the garrisons and reduce them. Okay, so now this is done for this turn. Next is their attacks. So we'll do the fortifications first. They have 2. They're each a 4. The first one is a 9, so nothing. Now we do the second one. It's an 8, also nothing. Now we'll do this garrison. Gets a 10, that's also nothing. This garrison needs a 3 or less and gets a 5, so no damage. So Serrurier is going to get a march order. It's a column, no roll, so he just gets to advance. And we go to turn 1. So now we're in turn 1. And I'm going to do the same exact thing, except this time it will be Serrurier who will do it. And we're going to do the same exact thing. They don't get a battle plan. His battle plan is going to end up being a march. So he's just going to head up there, assuming he doesn't get killed by the fire from the enemy here. But now he's going to get to go up. Now shock does not apply to these guys, I don't think. I don't think you can shock static forces. Wait. I just realized that you roll against the combat value for shock. I was using the activation value. So everything I've done up to now in terms of shock has been wrong. We just have to roll this number or less. So therefore that means they are eligible to be shocked. So he's going to move up 1, 2. And now the shock against him, his combat value is a 3. So no matter what I roll, he's going to be eliminated because of the shock. Now he also gets to attack this guy with his 7 and gets a 5. So this guy is now reduced. And now they get to attack back. So we have our fortifications. We'll do them first. And we'll start with this one. And that's an 8, so nothing. Now we'll do this one. And he gets a 5. And now we'll do this guy who needs a 3 or less. Actually, I just realized. Now we'll do this guy, but we're in melee now. And that should have been a 10, actually, now that I think about it. So he's going to be a 6/3. And he rolled. Got stuck under the thing. It was a 10. Come on. There we go. A 10. It got stuck under there. Trust me, it was a 10. All right. So now this guy here, we're going to move up into melee for the simple reason that these guys won't be able to fire once we're up here. So he's going to take a march order and just move up. And by doing that, he causes a shock check here. So he has to roll a 3 or less. And he rolls a 1, so he gets to survive. All right, so now this is the withdrawal turn. So now we roll for the withdrawal. So a 1 or a 2 will be rejoin, which means we just restart the battle. A 3 to 5 is an enemy retreat. A 6 to 8 is a French retreat. And a 9 or 10 is in camp, which I think just means they go back to the campaign map and they sit there until next turn. And it's a 5. And a 5 is an enemy retreat. So when the enemy retreats in a situation like this where it's all static forces, the static forces simply get destroyed and the French win the day. So that battle worked out extremely well. And we will go back to the campaign map. So we are now at the forced march stage. So if I wish to, I can take 2 of these guys. And actually I probably should, because you know, they only have a 2. So if I move these 2 in there, that's going to be a 3 to 1. In fact, I could probably just move the recruit and the card in here and leave La Harpe in this area. Move these 2 in, and that would get a basically an instantaneous win and remove that guy. So that's the question. Do I want to do that? Because if I do that, then when the enemy goes, things are going to be rough there. But you know what? Like I said, fortune favors the bold, right? Or I could rejoin my armies together I can march these guys up here, force march. Napoleon can force march for free. So I can move these two up here, which would leave Mantua undefended, but at the same time, we need to worry about Klagenfurt, and that would still bring me, well, I could go here. So it's 1, 2, 3, but if I force march them here, it's only 1, 2. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these guys, and we're going to join together with Napoleon. I'm going to spend my 2 supply points. That is the end of that. There is no battle to resolve. So we go right to French resupply. Now we control 5 cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 more is 18. So we have 18 supply points currently. So that would be a 10 and a 3 and a 5. 10 and a 5 and a 3. So we have 18 supply points, which is nice because I need to buy some stuff here. So we're going to buy Stengel back. We're going to also make Le Harpe full strength again, which costs 2. So that's 10. We've spent 10. So our 10 goes away. We now have 8. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buy Kilmaine as well, which costs me 6. That's going to leave me with a total of 4. And I'm going to stop there. So that's all I'm going to do here. Orders, we have to split up our forces. Well, we'll do the recruit first because he's out here on his own. So we'll do his order. He gets a 2, which is enemy held objective. So the closest objective, there are actually 2 now. There's Mantua and there's Milan. So if he goes here, he has to face the army, which would be suicidal. But I'm going to roll for it, odd and even. And okay, well, we're going to have a quick battle. This isn't even going to be a battle. It's just going to be an envelopment. 8, 15, 23, 29, 38, 43, 47. I have 47 points. He has 2. But we will roll Fog of War. I'm going to roll here and just I'll read the result rather than moving the camera. So he got a 4. And they have 3 supply points, so he cannot use any of that. So a 3 is I gain 1 scout. So that actually worked out for me. I gain a scout. So I'm going to put a scout up here on the battle play card. And we're going to do envelopment. He's going to be dead. He'll go back to the reinforcement pot. And we now roll for these guys, but we have to split them up. So they're all in the same thing. So you group by like units. So we have infantry, cavalry. Okay, so we have some commanders who should go together. Like, let's see, Melis here, Krasdanovich, and Davidovich all kind of go together. So then we have, and so do Messazaros. So you're supposed to group in 3s. There's going to be 4 groups anyway because we have 2, 4, 7, 9, 10. So there's going to be 4 groups. So I'm just going to do it like this. We'll put this guy with them. Well, this is a pretty weak force. Let's do De Erlis with them, and we'll do this guy with these guys, like that. So we'll start with Melis at the top. He gets a 3. So that is hold. So he's going to stay in Klagenfurt. Now we'll do Krasdanovich. And he gets a 1, which is moved towards an enemy held objective. So he's going to stay right here because this is, yeah, either way. So he's staying there. Davidovich, it's also a 1. So that is also going to be here. And then De Earls gets a 9, which is French held objective. Oh wait, enemy held objective. What am I doing? Enemy held objective is their objective. I've been reading that wrong. These guys stay in Klagenfurt. These guys will move towards a French objective. So since they can go 1, 2, 3, that's the shortest path. So they're going to go there. So that's how I read that. I think enemy from their standpoint, but that's their own objective, which is Klagenfurt. So they're gonna defend there, which actually, to be honest, it makes sense. Make Napoleon come to them, defeat him, and then you can reconquer everything that you've lost. Would be the sensible, because that's a pretty serious knot right there for him to try to untie. And these guys can be basically a delaying action. That's how I see it. So that ends their orders. There are no battles to be resolved. We go to resupply. They have 1 city. They get an 8, and an 8 is 3 supply points. So I'm just going to put another 3 on here. So they have 6 total now. 6 supply points. And that's going to end the turn. We'll go to October of 1796. But that is the end of the 3rd turn. So I'm actually going to wrap the video here, because I feel like I can finish this campaign in 1 more video. This will be a 3-parter. Then we'll move on to Egypt, which should be fun. A little bit different, hopefully. But yeah, so I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you for watching. I did screw up a bunch, I feel like, in this one, and I'm hoping I get better as we go along. But yeah, live and learn kind of thing. Hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes, as it were. Let me fix that focus. We were a little soft there. So yeah, thank you for watching. As always, I do appreciate it. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, etc. I do appreciate any kind of support you wish to give, whether that's a like, a share, a comment, or a subscription. I like subscriptions best, not gonna lie, but whatever. Whatever you are comfortable doing. So that's going to do it for now. Thank you again. Until next time, my name is Joe. This has been Hexed Encountered, and as always, happy gaming.